If you're lumbered with one of these wonderful IKEA Pax Wardrobes, then at some point you're probably going to have to move it. And the bad news is, moving it while it's still assembled is nigh on impossible. You will destroy the wardrobe, and they're unbelievably heavy. So really the only option, if you want to move one of these things, is to flat pack it. So today I'm going to show you how to pack it all back down, and then hopefully you can reassemble it when you get it to wherever its final destination is, which may be the council tip. Hiya folks, welcome back. Excuse the clobber, I am literally mid-house move at the minute, and I figured this might be a good opportunity to show you how to re-flat pack an IKEA wardrobe if you do need to move it into a different room or into a different house. As I say, moving these when they're fully assembled is, forget it, you'll destroy the wardrobe. So I'm just going to take you through as quickly as possible how I would go about flat packing one of these. You are going to need a Lecky screwdriver. I'm just using my impact drill with a Posi 2 bit in it, a medium flat blade screwdriver, a pencil, some snips or like pliers or something like that just for pulling the dowels out. Cling wrap is infinitely useful for literally everything. You're almost certainly going to need a hammer, and you need some like freezer bags or bags of some description just to put all of your bits in. You're also going to need quite a big area to work because we're going to need to lay this down flat. Trying to flat pack it while it's standing upright is very difficult, so you are going to have to try and lay it down somewhere. But to start off with, let's just get all the easy stuff out. So we'll take the doors off, we'll take the rail out, the drawers, the shelves, they all come out really easily. The doors just unclip. If you put your finger kind of behind there, you'll feel a little spring-loaded catch. I normally do the middle one first and then the bottom one, and then it's left hanging from the top one, do the top one last. So if you do the middle one, you can just flick it out, kind of, just so that it's not attached anymore. So you see how that's not clipped in. And then I'll do the bottom one, so that's out. And then finally the top one. Make sure you've got the weight with your other hand. Take the drawers out. Obviously you might have different fittings inside yours, but this is just a fairly basic one. But take the shelf out, this just lifts out. And then while it's like this, you can take all of the fittings, basically wherever you can see a screw on the sides, you want to take everything off. So all of these drawer runners can come off. What I like to do as well, and it just makes it easier for assembly at the other side, is to mark up before you take these off, because at the minute they're still kind of clipped in. Before you take them off, just mark up where they were, because it makes it quicker to put it back together. And I'm also going to put a little mark just against the back shelf pin, just so I know what height it was at. So I'm just going to put a little mark there, a little mark there, a little mark there. You'll not see it once the wardrobe is built. And I'm also going to mark the bottom and the top so I know which way round everything goes. So the bottom, I'm going to write BB with an arrow pointing towards the back, and that means bottom back. And on the top of the wardrobe, where you can't see it, I'm going to do an arrow pointing to the back wall. I can't even see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to write TB, which is top back, so I know the arrow is pointing to the back, so I know when that goes back on, that's the top bit and that's the front. Once you've done that, you can take all these bits off. You might need a screwdriver just to lever off the hinge plates. Just get a screwdriver, it should just clip off. Then you can take the screws out that hold it onto the wall. And while you're at it, you might as well take these brackets out because they're not doing anything now. Bag up all your bits, and then it's time to lay the whole thing flat. You can take out all of the screws holding your hinges into the doors. Tricky bit now if you're on your own is that we're going to have to lay the whole thing flat. So let's just go for it. Lift it at the front because you've still probably got the adjuster legs down. You can take them out from the underside, but you'll have to lift it up, otherwise they'll get stuck on the carpet. Normally they just drop out, to be honest. Right. Mind your ceiling. I know that I've just got enough room here to do this, but do check your ceiling height. Whew, bit dusty. Right. This is the trickiest bit of the whole thing, is that you need to get the back off. And probably when you built it, you'll have built it face down and you nailed the back on. Well, obviously you can't do that to get the back off. So you're going to have to keep it sideways to get the back off. And I would suggest you don't take the back off before putting it on its side, because you need the back there to kind of keep everything square, and it gives it quite a lot of strength while you're laying it down flat. If you take that back off before laying it down flat, you'll almost certainly destroy the wardrobe. So don't take the back off first. Wait until you've got it in this position. Now the next problem is that there's a lot of nails holding the back on the wardrobe, and they aren't easy to get out. Now you've got a couple of options. You can either literally go around with a screwdriver or a nail remover and remove each individual nail, or you can just smash the back off and hope for the best. It depends whether or not you want to perfectly reassemble it. Personally, I'm not too bothered. I'm not going to spend 2 or 3 hours unpicking every single nail out the back of this. I'm just going to do my best to get them out as neatly as I can. One thing that I've found works quite well to get them out is to use one of the shelves. And what you can do, if you lay the shelf flat, and you can just kind of use the shelf to tap on the back panel, because you want to kind of try and spread the force over quite a big area. If you do it with a hammer in one area, this is only like, it's glorified paper. It's just really thin hardboard at the back. It just breaks. So you can try doing it like this and it just spreads the load. As I say, it's not the most elegant way of doing things, but the alternative is literally unpicking each nail, and even if you do that, you can damage it. Just make sure there's no nails left sticking out. You might need a pair of pliers. As you can see, the back gets pretty trash, but when you reapply the back and refit it, just put your nail holes in between all the damage, and you shouldn't really be able to see it once it's all put together. It depends how, like that, this bit here is quite badly damaged, but there's a lot of them where there's no damage at all. So it depends how much time you've got really to fanny on with it, but at the end of the day, this is going to survive maybe 1 or 2 house moves and then it'll have to go in the bin anyway. They're just not designed to be moved once they've been built, basically, so it's cheap chat, so you get what you pay for, I'm afraid. Do be careful at this point that you don't lean on the wardrobe, because there's nothing kind of holding it together now. So we're going to be really careful. We're going to take this top panel off first, and to do that we're just going to loosen all of the cam screws. So the cam screws should just need half a turn anti-clockwise. So you can see there's a little arrow on it that points that away. Well, you want that arrow to point directly upwards for this. So I'm going to turn it half a turn until that arrow points to the top. And we'll do that on all of them. Only the top ones at the minute, don't do the bottom ones yet. Do that at the other side as well, and then you should just be able to pop this section off and get it loose. Be careful you don't knock this shelf out though. And just leave that resting for a second. Same on the other side. And then when you lift this off, be really careful not to knock the cam bolts that are sticking out. So we're going to take all of those out. We'll do that in a minute. The front and back plinth are normally just held in with dowels. They can come straight out. We'll sort those out in a minute as well. What we can now do is take these bottom bits out. You can take the feet off as well at this point. They can just kind of pull out. Make sure you get the whole thing, including the little back plate that sits in the wood. Same again, half a turn on the cam screws. For these, the arrow needs to point downwards now. Half a turn, and now that should just lift off. And then finally, you can use an electric screwdriver to take all of the cam bolts out. If there's any dowels left in, make sure they're all taken out. This should now be completely flat. The only other thing to check for is any nails left in the back that's going to hurt anyone. The ones that are still in, you're going to have to unpick them at some point, but you can do that in your own time. I'm not going to film unpicking nails. Actually, I will. I'll show you doing one, just to give you a couple of tips for when you do it. Start off, just get a screwdriver under the edge of it and just lever it up gently. Once you've got it up a little bit, you can get a claw hammer under it. Now, don't do the claw hammer that way, because you'll probably end up splitting the wood. Instead, do it that way so that the top of the claw hammer is resting on here, and then that should easily come out. And you've just got about another 500 of those to do, and that's you done. Obviously, take out any dowels that are in the end here. You can just use a pair of pliers or snips to gently take out any dowels that are left in. In terms of the cam screws that are left in, they can be quite tricky to get out, but they tend to fall out when you don't want them to fall out. So the best thing to do there, I've found, is to just get your top and bottom and put them facing each other. Like that. Give them a quick wipe to get the dust off, because they will be dusty if they've been sitting there for a while. And then just cling wrap them together, and then the little cam screws can't go anywhere then. And that's it, all done and dusted. Takes under an hour to flat pack one of these, so it's worth doing. As I say, if you try and move it in one piece, apart from the fact that it'll probably not even fit down most stairwells, it's not going to fare well. It just doesn't handle being moved very well at all. Your best bet, quickly flat pack it. It's much easier. You are going to destroy the back panel, unfortunately, but you can either buy a new back panel or you can refit the old one. You're not going to see it once it's full of clothes anyway, so it's up to you what you do with that. As I say, make sure you bag up all of your bits so that you can reassemble it. Wrap everything up as much as you can, get the move done, put it back together at the other end, and you're going to get days more life out of it. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. If you've got any tips for flat packing this sort of thing, pop it down into the comments below. For now, our house move beckons. I shall see you next time. Take care. Taddy bye.